than it is. And finally, it's David to pick up the kill there, but that got far too close considering this was Deagles and not much else.
Absolutely. Second now, last player standing. Actually only got himself a Galil, considering how many of FAB have already fallen here. And he was the player with that first early peek in towards A main at the start of the round. So he's managed to at least stay alive here, and he'd be looking for just a little bit more value on the back end of this round. I don't think he's going to have it in terms of kills. He might be happy enough just to try and even scour the safe zone of the map to try and find himself a better weapon here. But it's very unlikely he's going to be looking for anything in a hurry. And we'll just sit back. It looks like FAB aren't really in the mood to try and take this gun away from him as well. Considering you go into this, you go into this round with 4 AKs as well. It's pretty frustrating then to, I guess, have to try and keep guns away in that case. But we will see Fowler and David K just take their time. David K starting off pretty well, and to be fair, Sikin coming in as the stand-in. You know, for all intents and purposes, what we understood maybe even as the IGL, performing quite nicely to start things off.
Yeah, really nice beginning for him. Overall, the money's not great for either side. You can see these rounds going backward and forward. The first 3 strung together by the T side off the back of the pistol. The varying amount of just, tech 9s coming through, of course, that they forced into for the following 3. But yeah, back and forth means that basically the economy is very fragile for both sides. FAB will be able to get a full buy into this, but then, as you said, you saw them being very careful with what they gave up in that previous round. And looking at LeiSuRe, they're just going to try and supplement, I guess, this Galil saved. Syken still has that to hand. A couple of a Deagle, excuse me, a P250, and then that's it, pretty much no flash. I'd quite like a singular flash normally, and this looks like an anti-eco play actually coming out from FAB. This looks quite choreographed too, and I want to see how well this works out, because it's all very good and well to do it on paper, but if it doesn't work out in the main time, it doesn't really matter. And actually, this is extremely costly, and down to a 1v1. Light can do something here.
He's in a good spot to do it as well. That was an absolute mess for FAB. Knowing what they were running themselves into, LeiSuRe with the damage they managed to do last round, and then combine it with this here, even if they lose the round, they've definitely managed to get value. And Light, nothing with the P2K at the moment. I think he might have just spotted Freeman there as well, but the first little shot comes in, and aim punch is a bitch. No doubt about it. Freeman has a flash as well to help himself get across, and he will win the round out for FAB. But again, a very, very costly one here. Well, we talked about, we're going to see an anti-eco play. FAB threw themselves onto that B side and got flashed very heavily, and then the pistol work for LeiSuRe definitely was on point.
Well, this is the thing. Theoretically, that hit is pretty nice, actually, from FAB. It's just mollying out the site, forcing him out of the close corners, but they didn't actually check the kind of the walk in. So, you kind of clear out checkers a bit, but it was just everything else, that close little corner you can sit in, and it was a little bit kind of theory crafted and nothing else. But again, it looks like we might be seeing that from the T side. They're all here. They still have the same amount of mollies. The flash comes in. The molly's probably going to go to the site.
Double B main smoke.
That probably one was the CT, and one was the T side, and straight through smoke. Vladirox has ruined this pretty much. They've read it like a book. It was the exact same thing they just tried. I thought it was an anti-eco play, but no, clearly it's just a limited strat pool.
No, I think Vladirox actually dropped. There was a B main smoke coming probably from LeiSuRe, and then a second one thrown out by FAB. So Vladirox must have taken that as his cue to come forward and use a close angle to get 2 quick kills. Beautiful stuff, and that's really taken the wind out of FAB's sails now. They're going to have to take a step back and go back to the drawing board. Is Scrunk. I don't know what happened there as well. He peeked out on towards Vladirox, and that man's already got himself 3 for this round. Solo derailing the FAB train now as they try and find a site here with only 3 men and fails to work with. A main seems to be the next call.
Yeah, this is not pretty now. Simple as that. 2v5 shouldn't be doable, especially when there's 3 players on this site. But MNL just playing quite calmly. You've got the spam coming out from Syken, just going to keep him busy. Faker just lines him up, as does MNL, and there's the knockdown. So, again, Vladirox, though, being the headliner out of that round pretty much. The 2 kills to start with are out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that just completely trashed what FAB were doing. Their money's now broken again. Look at this. They could go for
Yeah, I don't know.
They seem to really like to force. Again, they're up on the T side, and you can do it, but...
No, I mean, even the last round, LeiSuRe didn't have a lot to work with in terms of utility. I mean, obviously they didn't bother buying helmets.
Light's seen them coming, so let's see how they respond now. Vladirox won't have the same opportunity he did last time.
Yeah, we're going to see Vladirox now does at least get 1 shot, but Scrunk about to shut down Light at close range. Vladirox with a second. He's looking for the third with a pistol just behind the box now. A nade out to try and cover himself, and, well, it's not going to connect as Sikin already picked Scrunk off before that nade landed down to 3v2. Still another advantage here for LeiSuRe, but not if that's going to happen. Sikin in midair is caught by Batch's Tech 9, and the smoke is up. And MNL and Faker have to work this the old-fashioned way.
What was he doing? Why would he just fly out? Like, that's just frustrating to see. That's someone trying to go for hero-level plays. And that's not what you need right now. They had the 3v2, they had the advantage. The bomb wasn't down. Now it's a 2v2, and the T-side have control relatively of the site. They can get a plant off here. So Badger going to smoke out, buy some time. Make sure they have control of the site here. Faker's going to try and look around, but you can see the smokes are completely covering this. And LeiSuRe, hell, they might just go for a save on this one. Their money's not perfect, and they could do with maybe finding another angle. Maybe what MSL is looking for right now. Flash comes in, finds no one. So now, let's kind of break down what we have here. We have Badger sitting on towards the site. He's got the Tech 9 basically watching headshot, and FailsA watching everything else.
Yeah, you just see the jump down in towards Checkers now as well. He has a good idea of where his opponent's going to be. Badger, though, at close range. Faker's going to get the better of him, pushing in towards headshot. And now FailsA has to come forward eventually, but now the Hunter's become the Hunted. He comes forward anyway, though, and wins out on the challenge. And now the 1v1, but Faker goes a little bit too fast on the trigger finger, gets the spray down. 2 for him in that round. And they're just starting to break this one back. And FAB, well, they get a plant at least. They forced up into that one somewhat awkwardly, but some weird play, I think, coming from LeiSuRe is what put them in that nasty spot towards the end of the round.
Yeah, they obviously they could have broken the CT economy if they had won that. Obviously, if you lose around, win around, lose around on the CT side, it completely breaks everything pretty much. So that makes sense in a weird way. It was a little bit, but it almost worked out. And I really like that
again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I like this mid control, just instantly given, almost kind of posturing towards that retake here from LeiSuRe, but looking at FAB not going for their default B hit, which is what we've been treated to, but actually going to switch up and try and hit the A site. And Highway is going to be pretty busy with CT players. Yeah,
you can see that as well. MNL and Light just locking it down between the two of them. 5 kills for 2 men. Now, FAB know generally that Light actually doesn't like to play mid at all. It used to be Ramix who would sit at Sugar Cube, and now I think Sicken is sitting there. Light just sits at A. That's probably why FAB have been avoiding that as much as they possibly can. They go for it in that round as well, see what they can get, but Lion and MNL just completely shutting them down. It wasn't much of a test for the two of them. But now guns are back in the hands of FAB here. Got plenty of utility to work on, albeit no AWP. Let's see how this one plays out.
And that's actually quite nice. I think that's how you break the window very early on. So you don't have to do it when you're there and give away your position. You shoot just through the glass at the top. So if I'm not mistaken, come on. Apologies.
Was that FailsA shooting through there?
Yeah. So it breaks the glass there so you can molly through straight away. So it's essentially it just sets you up pretty early for this. However, looking elsewhere, it looks like, again, trying to sell the A as much as possible. Again, those pop flashes. Again, those smokes. They've got 4 players locked into this, so this is going to be brilliant. Vladirox has to go big again. They've perfectly sold this bait. You can see that LeiSuRe are resetting now, but actually Scrunk being picked up could maybe sell it further, but now they're going to find out, actually, there's not much going on here. It's just David doing what he can, and now here comes the hit, and Vladdy, again, does so well to buy time perfectly.
Yeah, but now Faker as well is actually not committed to the site cleverly enough. He's going to be able to get the down shot on towards the head of Badger. Not a fully sold Fake, I suppose. I think Faker, speaking of which, was still gravitating towards B at the time that FAB managed to make that hit happen at A. And with MNL getting such an early kill into that push, a lot of the, the sting was taken out of FAB's attempt at baiting something over at A. And we saw the shutdown. Yep. Still, though, got 3 LeiSuRe players, 3 of them off the map.
I actually still really like them being able to take out the glass like that. That reminds me of basically something that Chris J, I guess, started to do. I don't know if it was just Chris J. I'm talking like this because we're watching Tech 9 rounds. It's on the wrong site. But the point being, Chris J used to break the vent there from the CT side so you could do a quick boost in towards mid, and I used to really enjoy that. But we'll come back to that point as it looks like the pop flash comes in. Will they check this corner this time? No, they won't. And again, they get punished, ripping them apart this time rather than Vladdy. It was Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher's in a good spot. I mean, you kind of, again, you can't always check every nook and cranny when you push on the side.
Well, when you've got 5 players, one of them can.
It needs to be it needs to be a hierarchy of importance. I'd like to think at least some person at some point would check there, but no. FAB were just tunnel visioned on towards getting towards the site and, again, getting completely shut down as well. It's always a bit of BM when you get sprayed down by A1S fire as well. It's like, well, yeah, that was a bit easy for him, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. But looking at it this way, LeiSuRe, once they've seemingly they've stabilized. They've been really quite strong. We haven't seen much from FAB since their kind of very choreographed pieces that just seem to be being read like a book at this point. And maybe it's the experience showing through of a couple of players, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. I just want to see what FAB have now. What do they have left in the tank? Because they seem to be running a little toward empty. It looks like another mid to B, but these Bs have not been working just by basic things of not checking corners. And just, like, they have the great ideas, they have great theory, but it's just the execution that lets them down. Let's find out if that's going to be the same case.
Yeah, Sika now will be in hell. He did see the movements there as well. Vladarox again can open things up. It's always an early kill, and now Sika going to flash himself through. He's got a player right behind him, then when he hasn't even seen him.
They're next to each other!
Through the smoke! He actually got a feeling that he was there, but he's actually going to lose out in that situation. 3-minute Fowler somehow managed to blunder their way on towards this site in one piece. But the bomb is loose and it's out in front. That's going to be the hard part. It's going to be a rescue mission. It might require Fowler to come through, but he's so low as well. It's only one chance he has to get across the opening now, and David just going to peek and try and get something for it. Fowler from B main gets a shot in towards Hell, and he now is very, very low, but he got the bomb. He picked it up. The distraction worked, and the bomb goes down.
I just keep hearing "Hello, darkness, my old friend," watching these executes towards the side, Mitch. All right, Faker, let's go on the retake. Here we go. 1v3 light.
I've seen some stuff from this man.
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen that as well a couple times. But right, well, a bit of a weird round that one there. The execute on towards the B side for Fab ultimately worked out for the last round and a half.
Mildly livid.
Can you be mildly livid? Is that possible?
All right, I'm like tilting slightly.
It's like slightly enraged.
Yeah. Internally screaming, but just what?
Oh dear. That's great.
See, sometimes I'm watching this, and of course, when you cast the Pro League and you come to maybe not obviously Tier 1, you put your expectations extraordinarily high, and you can see the difference between a team that theory crafts, right? A team that kind of sits there and goes through these strats, practices them, dry runs them, and you see the teams that put it into practice time and time again, and there is a massive difference between that, because some of Fab's actual strategies were really nice. On paper, they sound fantastic. They theoried them well, but then you don't get the timings right and they're a little off. You miss a corner or two, you miss a player on the site that Flash doesn't catch, and then suddenly you got a big error. But I think we are underway into the second half here, and look at the amount of utility. This looks like a default A hit we're going to be coming through, I can imagine. Maybe a little bit of a split towards mid to follow off, as I think there was possibly a boost. No. Yes, there was. Vladdy's boosted up. So this is a really nice hit, actually. Where does this go?
6 flashes bought for LeiSuRe and 2 smokes. So they've got enough to make this work. Of course, lacking armor might hurt them a little bit later on here, but Vladarox does get the flank there from the side. David K is holding on, and M&L's trying to tip the scales back in favor of LeiSuRe, but they're going with this with a player disadvantage, and Threeman manages to catch him blindside there as he peeks out from quad. And now Vladarox, who definitely wasn't supposed to be the spearhead here, albeit more of a utilitarian player, has to work it all on his own. The bomb is loose on A, and Vladarox has a long way to go.
Yep.
Yep.
That was weird. Again, like these German teams seem to like kind of these really cool ideas, and then it's just like, but why? But why would you do that? To be fair, David was pretty beastly, and there was a lot of players waiting on A, but as you said, Vladdy is still alive. But the Glock is just not ideal in these instances. With the USPS already holding an angle, it's like hell walking into that. You know there's basically a rail gun against you at that range. So, first pistol round in the second half at least. Well, the only pistol round, in theory, in the second half does go to the CT side, which is Fab.
Yeah, to be fair, it was almost one-to-one trades, I think, for LeiSuRe working on towards the site once they got there. The problem was that they had Vladarox out wide, and he wasn't actually able to do too much, I think, directly to influence the fight on the site. So Fab were trading out, and then they ended up with an extra 2 players eventually. So, again, a chance for them now to stabilize. 3 Famas bought into this one, and, of course,
flash, push. Here we go, Mitch.
Yep, straight in towards A main. This is what Fab can try and make happen here. They actually go 2 for 2 in that trade, but still going to pressure on towards this site. It's LeiSuRe who's going to go.
Apologies for that, by the way.
Skrunk and Badger are the last 2 remaining here.
All right, Skrunk. What can you do? Where is that?
Got
that molly. I want that molly in quad, like, right now. Okay, main, he's gone for. That goes well. Vladdy punishes him, and Syken will find Badger. So, yeah, sorry about that observing then. I was like, oh, there's going to be a pop flash, but who will get the kills? And then I guessed very wrong. So, yeah, sorry about that one. That might be a common theme for the first couple of games while I remember how to use a keyboard.
Just hope Rushley isn't watching.
Don't even start me off.
Don't even start me off, Mitch.
I can't do that accent without swearing. So I need to just abstain from that. And we are going to see, it looked like a big mid boost then, but yeah, a lot of players coming straight through. So just taking the fights pretty much, being very aggressive with the map control LeiSuRe, just keeping tabs on it from the A side, which is actually a smart idea considering 2 are pushing through from there. But alrighty, mid dominance is perfectly acceptable at this point, as you can see. It will probably do the business at this point, I can imagine, as there is armor with the CTs, but Already losing out on one. Scrunk being so low, they shouldn't be dying to that. And hopefully they realize there's another player on the side. They've actually forgone this. This could be interesting. Okay, Scrunk can be just a snake in the grass, but, well, that doesn't go too well.
Wow, we got snake in the grass. We got a land dragon in sick, and this guy is playing really, really well.
A what?
Really, land dragon.
A what?
Land dragon.
Is this an Australian creature that you kept hidden?
It's like when you go to land, you play really well. Land dragon. Like land dragon.
Oh, I thought you meant like a land dragon.
No,
I thought you
no,
meant there was actually a creature.
we had the bearded dragons. But
Oh, okay. I thought there was like some weird creature you'd been keeping.
no, he's a
secret.
land dragon. You know,
Land
going
dragon.
off on land. Look at this guy. What's he right now?
To be fair, Syken is... Okay, we're doing a round with Syken. I don't care. He is the land dragon, apparently.
He's the land dragon.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you. So all he's really doing as well, I don't really think it's pivotal.
Eco-frags.
Yeah, eco-frags. Pivotal positions, but last round he just pushed straight in towards lower as well. So this guy has aggression. He has confidence as well, which is something which is not always easy to find at this level,
Oh,
to be honest.
Wait, who is that boost? See, I can't... I can't do it quick enough to show you.
I think Threeman was...
So-
what you mean, inside...
Yeah, basically in here. So they put one close in the corner, anti-flash, and they put two boosts up above the smoke. So you can see that little bit of damage coming through towards Syken. That's actually quite a nice little idea. Again, these are sort of nuanced plays that probably won't equate to round wins, but if it got a gun away, considering it's almost, a lot of rifles and an AWP in play there, it'd be costly to lose out on those. But looking at some of the positions already coming out, like Vladirox's, they shouldn't have even a shot towards getting at B, but Badger's still doing a little bit of work there, taking down Light. That's the AWP gone.
Much like last round as well, I think Badger with a 5-7 actually managed to get a super long-range kill. So he is getting some frags there as well, but LeiSuRe this time, after sustaining a fair bit of damage, almost a full player's worth of damage before LeiSuRe even got in position, they managed to clean it up there as well. It was a stack towards mid, essentially, and then it was like a four-man mid stack because there was some boosting going on.
Yeah.
And then I think two players peeled off to A, so B was still left unattended entirely there. It's because little information was gained by FAB as to where LeiSuRe were actually going until they hit the site.
Why is there 3 going A? They're not playing anyone in mid. In a full gun round with an AWP. Okay, because they're going for the double aggression in main, excuse me, but that's still really weird to completely give up mid control at this point. They had no reason to. Sure, they'll get a main control, but you could do that with 2 players. You do not need the third there. Now, again, LeiSuRe have full chance now to build off the back of it. Fails gets a bit of a sitter lined up for him. Light will just get picked up. But, the thing is, it's working out, but it shouldn't be.
Well, LeiSuRe opt not to really put a stranglehold on mid here. There's a chance. I mean, maybe if I think it was MNL hadn't fallen there to Failser in that case, he could have actually worked in towards sort of mid and actually even control some rotates coming away from FAB because they're split 3 and 2 at this stage. But they're going to work on B anyway. And Vladirox straight on towards the side. He'll see that flash come through. He turns it one straight away and he's in perfect position now to get this shot on. And he does. Scrunk falls down. And Vladirox is the one-man cleaning crew here. Scrunk and Badger both falling down. Molotov popped as well. But these two LeiSuRe players are exceedingly low, and there are 3 full health FAB players coming for them. Yeah,
and they can't cross anywhere. They're stuck on this side pretty much. So they have to take the fight or do something to try and turn the odds. But now Faker left in a 1v3 with 6 HP. The spray down comes in, but it is to absolutely no avail. And weird choices from FAB that actually work out in the end. Yeah, not playing anyone in mid. Stacking 3 A, 2 B. See, this is the thing, like, normally if someone puts, like, a player towards highway, that'd kind of be like, okay, well, they're just putting a player highway, that's fine. That's, they're not directly in mid, but they're still doing the same job, essentially. That time, it was just like, no, screw that area, we don't like it.
We've actually seen in this game, specifically, a very minimal amount of AWP play in the middle of the map.
Yep.
Rarely is that happening. What we're seeing sort of lately is either going towards A, of course, or a quick peek at B, like Crystal would perhaps do in some of the rounds we've seen, or Guardian, for example, as well. They'll always peek that B early and then just back up a little bit. Or if you're Crystal, you never back up at all when your W key's stuck down. But this time, LeiSuRe again, not really trying to challenge out mid so much. Light does have an AWP, but he's just checking A main.
But the thing I will say for FAB is, even though it baffles me mildly, they do like to change things up here. They've got, this time, no one in A. They have a kind of very defensive player at the very back. Once I can find him.
Vladirox got so far onto that B side.
Yeah, he just walked in, which is kind of scary within itself, considering you had 3 players there. They're so focused on getting the boost. But yeah, they're playing basically retake on A, played aggressive towards B. These guys are showing some really nice tactics. It's just, as I said, mildly poorly executed to the degree that it could be. And Then Wally goes down to deny the cross, which will buy time for the rest of the team to kind of reinforce this area. So now you've got 3 players from the CT side here, but Faker already finding one's going to make it harder. Fails has found Faker back, and now the lineup comes in. 3 minutes to hit the shot, and he at least finds one.
Yeah, Fowls are doing some serious work here as well. Light now going to try and join the party with the Tech-9 coming out. I don't think he's aware of the presence at Highway and Truck as well. Quad has just been cleaned out, but it is a 1v2. The man has an AWP. Might fancy himself a better weapon at this point as well, and he's checking towards that tractor. He knows there's a play there. But again, exactly where that he can't be certain of now. So checks towards Highway, sees that there's a player still there. This will make Light quite vulnerable here. From the side, it will be Scrunk to catch him out. Good of Scrunk to get in position when he did, nice and early on, and not show himself until just the right moment.
Yeah, and I think Scrunk would have heard him, scoping in and out. At that sort of range, you probably could. And you've got some really weird tractors in Australia.
Oh, it's a forklift. Yeah, forklift.
It's cash. I've got to correct you on how you pronounce it.
It's a keg tractor, we call them. I used to work at a hotel, and I'd drive one of those around carrying the kegs on pallets. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Not as fun as you might think.
I really wanted to try one of those floor cleaners, you know what I mean, that have the seat on it. You can just drive around on them. That looks really fun.
Like the Zambonis, except for actual force.
Yeah. We will come back to topic because this is actually a really good resurgence from FAB. This time playing very default. Maybe this is how they like to approach their anti-ecos. The early nade damage is absolutely substantial. So the push is going to come in. Again, 3 men going to be on the forefront there. David does have some support though. He's been playing from what is now a tractor. And it doesn't go too well for him.
No, so it look much better from FAB. Now, like you said, they're solidifying. It's a resurgence, and they're just digging their feet in that much more. The side is held, well, by one player. Sick at least is on his A side now as well.
Move! What are you doing?
Yeah, he just pushed out of A main as well. He was actually sat in or close to A main for so long, and then he ran straight into the fire and fails it yet again. A great round from him. Just the 1 kill to finish things off, but he has shot himself up the scoreboard since he's been able to solidify with that AWP. Again, he's been a very, very important part of FAB E's hold on that A site, and LeiSuRe are still trying to work that one here.
11-11. Double AWP on the CT side now. Scrunk and Fells are both going for this. Scrunk has been relatively quiet in comparison to maybe of what I expected, but a big presence from the T side towards mid again. Hefty boost. I'm not sure why MNL is going over the boost when he has the bomb. I don't particularly like that. I think it's incredibly dangerous, even though that FAB do decide sometimes to not play mid. And then we have a very passive hold at the back of B. So now Light knows that no one's pushed out towards the hall, so they can make yeah, exactly. They can make a faster hit here. So this is going to be pretty much do or die, and I think Scrunk might have spotted someone in those vents. So they might be ready for what's coming their way.
They should be ready, because Fails has already pushed so far through on Squeaky in towards mid that he knows it's going to be a B hit for LeiSuRe now as well. And Badger, well, sometimes it doesn't matter if you know what's coming, because eventually it's still going to crunch you. That's going to be the fire burning him on down. Faker puts the molly at his feet, and MNL is going to get himself one as well. 3v3 now. It's Fails, or at least can even the ledger, and MNL in a slightly awkward position here as well. He knows there's a player out at B main, and Fails are going to flash himself in. The hero play comes out. He makes the first shot. Stunning stuff from him. Just picks the pixel. But now he's going to have to re-peek into this, and Vladarox will be waiting with him with open arms and a hail of bullets aimed at the head. And LeiSuRe get one back. The first in the last few here. Just trying to slow FAB down as well as they started to look like they were getting comfortable.
Mollies, apparently.
Fire bad.
Yeah, don't stand in bad. Obviously, you're in between a rock and a hard place. It's like, well, if I run out anywhere, they're probably going to be waiting, but not fun. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. It looks like we might have some flash coming in. I think that's going to be a flash coming over. And we'll see what 3 we can achieve. There is a couple of players by main, but they're playing very passive, so they're actually expecting this pop flash in. So they're kind of postured towards this anti-flash, so this will be quite fun. Actually, this is double pop flash. Yes! Okay, so there's a deep one, I think. And then David will do like the underhand throw. Yeah. Okay, so he does the first. There, so it's exactly what I said. The deeper one, then the underhand. They check main, nothing there. But as we saw earlier, this is a very slow start.
Look, it's a complete rotate out of A though as well. No one even checking towards mid. No one at Highway. It's going to be FAB with a later stack towards this part of the map based on the information they gain through A main. Interesting. I think David K at least is going to be able to peek mid and have a look there as well. Vladarox is going to pick up Badger as they work on towards his B side. Vladarox not having committed to B as well, so there might have been a bit of an over-rotate from FAB as they tried to sneak away from the A side.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Badger's been already eliminated. Syken just assassinates David, and this is just a bit unfortunate. 'Cause again, these ideas are great, but they're just kind of responding a little badly to it. As you said, maybe over-rotating there, even though they saw very little information, and they're going to save it because they have the armor, they have some utility, and they have the upgraded pistols. And bearing in mind, they still won't be able to buy next round, so they're kind of stuck in this predicament. As I said, you know, win-loss, win-loss. You know, these sort of up and down rounds for FAB mean their economy never stabilizes. You never get the kind of the round. Yeah, it just didn't really amount to much.
No, and they'll be biding their time now as the round does. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could see the whole time that LeiSuRe weren't really wanting to just go hell for leather on the B side, because Vladirox actually got that peak from back towards Sunroom or way back in B main. You know, wasn't in a hurry to work on towards that side, and maybe judging by his positioning, when the FAB player who died to him should have been like, okay, he's actually not even pushed up close. There's no presence in checkers. I haven't heard the vent get blown, so maybe we need to be a bit more concerned about mid. I think David K was able to peek mid briefly and get some information, but yeah, well, there were super many options open for LeiSuRe, even right till the end of the round. That's, you know what that is? That's me trying to speak German. Super many. I wouldn't normally say that if I hadn't been trying to speak German. But.
All right, mid stack and a nice actual meat to the mid stack here. They're going to try and just take the fight, and this CZ work from Scrunk is absolutely insane. That's 2 kills coming in. Well, no, excuse me, he did support on the first, but good work on the second then for himself, and a little bit of a flusher style play coming out. I like that. Leaving actually in a 4v3, so they do have the advantage, but of course, only really the upgraded pistols for 2 and the armor for 2 now. They don't have anything on David nor Badger, and those rifles they just took away are not recoverable.
No, it's a big question here as well for FAB. They don't have a lot. The one and done spot here for Badger is you can at least look in towards A main. But LeiSuRe know that they have a minute. They have a minute to decide exactly where they want to start applying pressure to here for FAB, as they can at least work in with 3 players. And it's always going to give them somewhat of an advantage if they commit all of those to a site. FAB kind of have to split 2 and 2, or at least 2, 1 and 1 if they want to have some mid control there. As 3 as he leaves mid, Vladirox heads in towards mid himself. He's going to B. So actually LeiSuRe are splitting themselves up a fair bit here, as Light is going to Molotov towards the forklift. But he won't get any information about where this stack is. Or will he?
So they know there's 2 players there from that angle, I can imagine. I don't think they'll assume 3, but this is going to encourage that B hit pretty drastically, but then there's only 25 seconds, so really LeiSuRe do have to make this one work. And they're coming in against the spot them on the cross. Light does find David, but they're doing a bit of damage, and now here comes the cavalry. We've got an AK in the hands of 3man, so suddenly this has gotten incredibly dangerous. Light's about to be extinguished as he's going to try and go for the no-scope, and well, that doesn't go too well, does it? And you just lost again. A very questionable, well, not even purchase. They bought absolutely sod all then. They basically just sent the guys
they had a
straight up mid.
CZ there, and pretty much the rest was maybe AP 250. The rest were just USPs. So, even Vladirox as well. He was in mid. He had a good position. Could have even started something on B. He just rushed high away, and I think it was Scrunk. Someone, David, maybe close angle, and caught him as he came around the corner with the CZ. It just doesn't get much simpler than that there as well. So great round there from FAB, and this might be a bit of a problem here for LeiSuRe now as they get back in front. Well, they get back on the horse at least as FALSR opens up with a shot towards Sicken.
Yeah, FAB playing again this B stance where they're quite aggressive B. They try and get some presence there, and then they forgo so much towards A that they're actually losing out on players. But make it even worse here at this point. But all right, MNL, Faker, and Vladdy left alive. They have 0 map control. And I'm saying map control a lot because basically, with the CT side being so aggressive, it makes it quite hard for Tees to keep themselves safe throughout the map. So, okay, well, we've secured main, but we only have one guy, I guess, kind of near B, which is Vladdy. So you can see that how to check all these corners, being so very careful, because, well, we don't know checkers, and now suddenly there's a player stepping ahead, but the timing was not on Batch's side. The smoke towards C2 will come out, but there's 2 players watching this cross. Yeah,
Vladdy actually gets across a fair way, though, as well, and he can spot out Scrunk sitting up on top of that box now as well. He should assume that there's a player in upper, and Vladdy's going to use his smoke there for the moment. Going to use it very well indeed. David K didn't know what hit him, was waiting to see the head and saw nothing. The shots coming in towards him, and now the 3v2. It's a bit of a turnaround here for LeiSuRe, and they might be able to erase the error they made last round if they get a convincing clean-up on this round. Again, FAB just had to play the retake. They've got to work with a lot of damage being dealt there over towards Faker.
Faker low, but we'll get picked apart. There you go. There's MNL holding the cross, and now FALSR has an opportunity, but of course, only knows where one of these 2 players is. Bomb is planted perfectly for checkers. He knows that. He's got no utility to smoke it off, do anything, but he's still got the AWP. Hits the shot towards Vladdy, who could have danced for days on that, but the shoulder peek is going to buy time, and MNL, too much of a... to fall for that sort of nonsense, and we'll close it down and keep this one back in the hands. Now look at the money again. Back and forth rounds mean the economy is never going to be stable for the CT side, so they've got a bit of a dropout coming in. So you've got an AWP being spread for an MP9. This is not
It's a
good
terrible
times.
round.
And look at the rounds now.
I say it's just the worst round to have crap money, really. I mean, David now at least gets himself an M4, fails it with an AWP, and to be fair, that's been pretty important for FAB in terms of their winning rounds in recent times. But LeiSuRe have everything they need, and Light playing a little bit differently here as well, sitting back, way back in spawn, that's from, as Scrunk tried to get aggressive. LeiSuRe have read this anti-eco really well, and now FAB are just going to run themselves into the ground by the looks.
Yeah, the AWP's gone. So basically, they're down to the M4. That AWP is so far away. That was in Squeaky. But the CC work from Threeman's been more than impressive. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do much more in this round. He's got a player coming through Squeak, so he can't even retract towards A. But still makes it work. But he gets absolutely ripped to pieces. Now, David, you have the M4. You have armor. You need to do something here because your teammates are falling like flies. And he's at least found the first in this very long road to get in this round in hand.
Oh, this is it. This is absolutely essential now as well. David K, a lot hanging on him. This first map in the balance. He gets some good damage towards Light, though, as well. He does miss the shot, but MNL are going to come around the corner. He's going to bring up match point for LeiSuRe here. And FAB tried to buy into that one as well as they could, and as a result, they've got stuff all to work on.
I guess you have to go for the win, right? I guess. But yeah, that round was... I just wish they played... I don't know. You know,
You could play for the overtime, really, in that last round. But you had an AWP, I guess. You had the money for it. You could work around it, but it's still, it's a low percentage.
Yeah, not going to go too well. We are going to see the mid presence coming through straight away. Again, Scrunk trying to build something off this with 3 on the CZ. Those two doing fairly well. The rest, Deagles, touch of utility, not much. And look how far back LeiSuRe are. Just like drawing the battle line right down the middle. Like, screw that. We're not gonna run into you. You guys can come to us. Yep. We're just going to take our time. We'll do a default site take if we need to. Just run that clock as low as possible.
Yeah, Scrunk. He's actually quite close up in mid here, hoping to find something again as he did last time around with the CZ at close range. But this time, they're not going to fall for it, I think. There is actually a player inside that mid building there as well. Sicken has smoke.
He didn't see the player. Skrunk's through, and no one's going to be checking this. Faker's just running at him with his knife out. That's a really good idea. Now, okay, they traded, but they see where the bomb was heading, which was B. So now suddenly, you're going to see players like Badger, suddenly wake up, get a little sharper, but he doesn't hit the shot anyway. And Vladdy remains the king of cracking open B.
Yeah, you know, he's here. He's just sat in Sunrun for the first minute or so, and now he springs into action. There's a smoke down below as well. And Light manages to pick up David K. So now it's Failza and Threeman here. Match points for LeiSuRe to get their first map of this best of 3. And it's looking pretty good so far. Light can sit well back. He's just checking for a flank here. Sicken plants in pretty darn good spot, but Vladderok's there is going to catch out Threeman and Failza now. Just has a spray on down from upper. He might have a chance, but Sicken is going to shut him down. The player being brought. Mix here for LeiSuRe, finishing things off in style. He had a fantastic game, but Vladderok's ending up with 31 frags. He really lifted in this second half.
Yeah, Vladdy was sick. That opening B like he did was nuts. Just literally... I'm not going to say quite to the get-right level of doing it, but that just individual play going, okay, well, I'll just take my own smokes. I'll literally just be my own player here. So he literally just took himself in, went through, and the amount of times he got 2K, 3K, secured the site. Really good stuff on the T side. That makes a difference. But again, looking at FAB for me, though, they seem to have theory-crafted so many things like these, okay, well, I want to have this little nuanced pop flash that we do towards A main to get control. And then they read instantly into it, stack out B, and then T's go, hey guys, remember how you thought that that was clear? Nope.
So, I mean, there's a few positive moments there, definitely for FAB, I think, in terms of what we're seeing from players like Scrunk as well. Threeman held quite full occasions. He was actually a big part of the anti-eco round win against LeiSuRe when they tried to push on towards that A site. So there were moments there as well, but yeah, I don't know. And to be fair, LeiSuRe almost stuffed themselves up as well. It was about maybe 12 to 11, I think, at one point there as well. And they lost that anti-eco round. In fact, it was almost nothing brought up at all. Yeah, I mean, already, it's the PTSD triggering me.
But the thing I would say is this actually looks like a game where you're seeing some and then a mixture of other players who aren't as experienced. You're seeing mistakes or overzealous plays. You saw that hero play where one of the players just flew in towards B for no reason.
With an A1S as well in midair.
What was your plan? Tell me your logic, because I'd love to hear it. Because see things like that. I think what happens when players get in front of a crowd, maybe not just for the first time, but they're still new to it, and you see these sort of plays, you're just like, You probably wouldn't do that sat at home
No.
every day of the week. We are actually getting to see something that is a bit of a rarity here.
Well, hopefully the next map will be delivering in a very similar fashion. We're going to go to a short break, and when we return, it's going to be map 2. It's going to be Cobblestone. It's going to be LeiSuRe versus FAB E. It's already 1-0 in favour of LeiSuRe. Let's see how this series finishes up.